Good morning, Eddie.
Good morning.
Show number 342. Good.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Eddie. And I know you
Thanks.
got that checkboard in your office or in your studio there where you're checking off how many shows you've done. And
He's got a couple of years on us.
oh boy, does he? And he's got every day too. So
Every day doing all that. All right.
yeah, I know. Anyway,
Yeah.
hey, thanks, Eddie. Tracy, so much. It's been an interesting week. We actually kind of saw a little bit of slowdown in the real estate market in the last few weeks, if you want to call it that.
We saw a few less showings on homes for sale.
Yeah, thank you. That's a better way to put it, because I want to caution people not to think, oh my gosh, here it is, the market's turning. It's like, no, the market slows down this time of year every year. It actually took a little longer this year for our normal seasonal slowdown to kick in.
Right. So if you hear people saying, oh my gosh, things are slowing down, what's going on? We'll go, it's November. And, this should have happened 2 months ago.
It went from insanity to normalcy, kind of. Yeah.
The number of homes for sale on the market has leveled off. Oh, am I taking away your stats?
Wait, I got a number for that.
Got
well,
a
no.
stat for that?
You put the color on it, and I'll give you the numbers.
Yeah. So we know that the number of homes on the market is staying fairly stable.
Yep.
How many?
When you say that, though, over the last couple months, it stayed fairly stable.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And then
Number of homes going pending is still huge.
Yep.
Right. Lots of people still out buying homes.
So let's hit that. So October, and this is for the Metro Albuquerque area, the number of homes going pending, meaning, received a contract, came off the market, they're doing their due diligence. It's 30% more than October last year. So it's 1,183 last year versus 1,550 this year. That's huge for an October. Probably the biggest
huge.
October ever. I don't have
I bet
all
it
the
is.
years, but again, we go back to what we've been saying now for a long time, is we kind of had that pause in, let's say, March, April, May. And then we've been, the real estate market has just been super strong ever since then.
Right.
Number of homes on the market, this is the big one. Number of active listings is 48% less than a year ago. There's currently, depends how you count it, but there's currently 1,700 for October, the way we counted it for October.
1,700 homes.
Residential properties for sale. To put that in perspective, when we were back, let's say back in, when the market was bad and there was a huge supply we had like 8,000 homes on the market.
We're talking more than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
or
right.
10 years
exactly,
ago or
exactly.
so. Yeah, not like last spring, or this is like ancient now. Well, old news.
Let me put it perspective a different way. Okay, so right now we're talking about like 1 month supply of homes on the market. That's one of the things we measure. And that's a supply-demand ratio. And they usually say 4, 5, 6 months supply is a balanced market. That means if the demand stayed the same, we could have another 4,000 homes on the market and still be considered a, quote, balanced market.
Right. Right now it's considered a seller's market.
Oh,
we're down
for sure.
48% in homes for sale over last year at this time.
The thing that's interesting, Tracy, and we know this, is that, not all homes sell, right? And why do you think that is?
Not all homes sell?
Well, we know that buyer demand is strong, but not every home has sold, and there's a reason for that.
There is a reason for it, and it's what we tell sellers, right? So it's price, condition, location, basically, how the house shows, how it's priced. Buyers are still very careful. They're not going to, buy a house that doesn't make sense or that's not priced for the market.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no, for sure. Tracy, this story that came out from Realtor.com, and we've been talking about this over the year now, is, how, let me say it a different way. What people are looking for in their homes has evolved this year.
You mean because of the pandemic?
Right.
Right. It has. And what we're seeing and what the article is covering on Realtor.com was that change probably isn't going away, right? People are probably going to continue to want, even when, they're able to go back to work or things calm down, they're still going to want these design changes.
I think a lot of companies have realized that this work from home idea is not gone away, or is not going to go away.
Right.
And it's going to be an option, for companies to maintain and keep good talent, meaning, good employees, they're going to want to be able to offer this work from home option for a lot of people, right? Our son works for a tech company, just one small example, and, they work from home. Of course, he's in a job, he's a computer coder, but programmer, but so that's a job that allows you to work from anywhere pretty much.
Right.
But with the Zoom and with all the different ways people can meet now, it just seems like that's not going to go away. And so what do people want in the home if they're working from home more often?
Right. It's more of a living space where you're doing school, you're doing work, you're enjoying your family because you might not be going out to as many bars and restaurants as you used to, right?
Right.
It's more of your escape and your private place. And one of the things, I'm not sure what the article said about this, but one of the things we've noticed is people wanting larger homes. There was this trend where there was the McMansion, right? Era, 2008, the McMansion 10,000 square foot home in Los Ranchos or whatever. And then all of a sudden, those people tried to sell them, and people didn't want 10,000 square feet anymore.
The not so big house
craze
phenomenon
came through. Now people are upsizing again. They're spending more time in their home, and they're expecting to stay that way and spending more.
I would
time
say
there.
though, I think we're seeing in if you look at what the I'll call them production builders are doing, where they have all these different floor plans, and they really know what people want, because they're building so many homes. They can basically A/B test floor plans and decide which ones people like versus others. And what they're finding is, or what they're doing is, they're making much more efficient use of space in these floor plans. I think about some of the homes we saw, like the Twilight's building over there in Rio Rancho, right? Very efficient, really good use of space, and we're seeing that across most builders.
Some of the things, obviously we work as realtors with new home builders. We can help home buyers buy new homes, and it's good if they call us to have them be helped that way. But what we want to, a couple of the features that I can think of. So even in a house that's maybe under 2,000 square feet but brand new, you're seeing things like the mudroom, kind of that drop zone when you walk in from a garage or something. You're seeing small little spaces, maybe close to the kitchen living area, with like a desk space, sort of, but not a wide
separate
desk.
But not separate.
Separate but not separate. It used to be like there was a counter in the kitchen that you could put a chair under, and they called that the desk or whatever. And it was not great to have that drop zone right there.
It's interesting. That was really a trend for a while, where they had like the desk in the kitchen. And I think the reality is that thing always just became a junk collector.
Yeah.
And
all the mail got there.
We're not seeing that in new home design now.
Not anymore, no.
Yeah,
but what we are seeing is like a little area, small.
The home workstation.
It's kind of the home workstation, close to where the kitchen is, close to the living space, but maybe with some half walls or something. So the kids that are actually there doing school or whatever, if someone's in the kitchen, dad's in the kitchen cooking, and mom's on the couch eating bonbons like I do.
Drinking a martini.
Having a martini while you're in there cooking Tego.
Yeah.
But it's, some of those things, in addition to a room that's more of an office, right? An option, so it's not just a bedroom, but maybe it has big French doors and it's more office or school-like.
Well, in New Mexico, we have, here in central New Mexico and Albuquerque area, we have, 3 really good outdoor seasons that we can actually be outdoors and live outdoors. And so we have that option to really have additional outdoor space. And so that's another consideration that a lot of people are looking at much. I want to say stronger. What's the right word? But I think the outdoor space is a big deal.
It is a big deal, and what we're really important. Tego, what else are we finding that is probably a trend because of the current situation with COVID and how people have adapted, and that's going to stay around?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's the outdoor space we talked about. It's the 4th bedroom, right? It's the home office.
or
and
fourth bedroom or the office.
home office or fourth bedroom, right?
Right.
And it can be either way. There's that whole. Let's just talk about. Let me go off here just a little bit, because there's this whole thing where people get confused. It's like, is it a bedroom or is it not a bedroom? Is it an office or is it a bedroom? Can I call it a bedroom? What's the criteria to call a room a bedroom, Tracy?
Well, first criteria is that it has to have two forms of egress, which means it can't be like a landlocked room in the middle of the house that doesn't have an exterior escape route.
And that's the thing we see a lot, where you'll see like an interior room, meaning there's no exterior wall, no exterior window, that you could call that an office, but you can't call it a bedroom.
Right. And it's fire code, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people say to have it be called a bedroom, it has to have a closet. I've gone to a lot of classes where appraisers have taught, and they say that's not correct. It doesn't have to have a closet.
No, doesn't have to have a closet. And what I always say to people when they push back on that is, I say, think about those old Victorian houses downtown Albuquerque, just for example. They don't have closets, but they're still bedrooms.
Right.
It's still a bedroom. The closet is not the criteria. It's the egress, and then also the size of the room, correct?
Right. There's rules about that it can't be smaller than, and if the ceiling is sloped, so those Victorian houses, right, where the second story has really steep pitched rooms up in the upper level, like maybe the attic, and somebody decides to make it a bedroom. If it's not at least 7 feet,
I think it's 6 or 7 feet.
6 or 7 feet on the end of the slope, so that the low side of that slope, it can't be called a bedroom.
Yep. So just but that was a kind of off track there, but it's an interesting thing, because we hear that a lot of times. People,
we do.
Well, it's a bedroom. It's not a bedroom. It's a bedroom. It's not a bedroom. So
anyway,
it's an interesting point to
so
make.
having that one extra room to either be an office or a bedroom is important, and we expect that to continue.
We do.
A lot of employers have realized that people work from home and can be fairly efficient. I know we've got a lot of folks on our team working from home, and a lot of them feel like they're more efficient than being in the office, or at least as efficient. Of course, you did a great job setting them all up with computers at their homes and making sure they had the latest and greatest, right? And they all have great internet. So it's been
well, I mean, that's just it. It's interesting. You think about if we would have experienced this shutdown 10 years ago, the technology wasn't there. Now we're at a place where, with the cloud, I was talking with our son about this, because of course he's in the tech business, and it's like the cloud wasn't ready 10 years ago for what we're dealing with right now. Zoom, there wasn't Zoom. There was some video chat stuff, but it was very primitive even 10 years ago. Now it works well, it's easy, it's efficient. I know you just used the Google version of it, which was good. Microsoft has a version of it.
Right, Google Meets and
it's all very common. I mean, now even with our phones and FaceTime, the video chat is just a thing, and it's just become commonplace now.
But just to circle back to how we're showing homes virtually and how we're doing those scans of the home so people can walk through it almost like virtual reality, because they can look up and down and really see the property. But for us, that wasn't new. We've had that for quite a while. But the point I really want to get to is we're still showing homes in person too. So really it's those out-of-staters, the out-of-area people, the Farmington, Ruidoso, New Jersey, California. They're out of area, and they're able to really tour homes now much better than they ever had been. And, we just had a gentleman reach out to us this week. He's in Colorado. He's getting shifted to Kirtland Air Force Base as a PCS there. And he has to quarantine.
Permanent change of station.
PCS.
Yeah.
He has to quarantine for 14 days. Can't leave like his either hotel or base housing, wherever they are having him come to. And he's like, I want to get a jump on looking at houses. I don't want to miss out on 14 days. So there's a whole plan for him to tour areas and neighborhoods and help him get familiar with Albuquerque while he's sitting waiting out 14 days getting takeout delivered.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the economic impact of housing and real estate on the local economy. It's a big
Tego.
deal.
I saw your chart the other
Yeah,
day,
I know.
which was very funny to put up a chart
was-
of the United States with blue all over it.
I saw the chart. I got it from one of the companies that I subscribe to that puts out data like this. I just got to set this up. So it's a chart of the United States, each state mapped out, and every single state is blue.
Different shades of blue.
Different shades of blue. I mean, we've been looking at charts now with all the, the red and the blue now.
It caused a stir if people didn't read the story, which is funny because it made people read the story.
Right.
But what's interesting about it is that it caught people's eye, and
it did catch people's eye.
and it's really interesting information.
The reality is, it was on purpose that I put it out there because, I said, "Are you tired of maps yet?" But the chart or the actual data had to do with the economic impact of a new home sale on the local economy. And National Association Realtor does this study every year. The most recent one is from a year ago, so it's probably even higher now.
Yeah.
But nationally, they came up with $88,000 of impact on the local economy for every new home sold.
Do you mean new construction
Yeah,
home?
new construction home. And so, it's a little bit less with a resale, but there's still a pretty big impact.
I would think it'd be a lot higher on new construction than the stats even when
This
you
is
think
new
about.
construction.
I know, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
it would be even higher
yeah,
when you
I
think about all the jobs to build the
True.
house, and we know how much a home sale impacts from title inspectors, moving companies, real estate. There's so many different people that are involved in that process.
No,
right?
absolutely. You
Target
think
going
about-
to buy new doormats. Think about the economy that's
for
fueled by it.
For New Mexico, again, this is a year ago, $72,000. I mean, that's a big number. That's direct impact into our local economy for every new home built. And I will tell you, it's really interesting because we've been now talking about, quote, shortage of homes on the market.
Right.
Meaning that, there's demand's high, supply's low. The builders aren't going crazy with building right now. I've been watching the number of building permits pulled in the local market here, and it's steady. It's not like the builders say, "Oh my gosh, we have all this demand. Let's go build 1,000 houses." That's not happening.
Right.
I take that as a good thing for the market. We're not going to have this flood of homes like we had back in 2005, of all these new homes flooding on the market, and then suddenly, demand slowing down.
Right. And they're being careful, but right now there's so many people that are putting a new home under contract that's to be built,
Yeah.
meaning they're out there. We're
Well,
helping them pick a lot,
They're
pick a floor plan, pick the color palette for their cabinets and their flooring and things, and then waiting 8 months for it to be built. So they're only doing a few homes that are just available if somebody walks in the door.
So cost, let's just talk about that. Now I want to talk about cost for renting. And just remind everybody you're listening to Albuquerque Real Estate Talk with Tego and Tracy Venturi, show number 342. We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
And
we're with Keller Williams
Yep.
Realty.
And
448-8888. If you've been listening to our ads here on the Kiva, you know that we're running a special right now.
Oh, that's right.
So if you're thinking of selling now or even in the spring, we are covering the cost of a home inspection for you if you call us before the end of November, and
that's like
we
a $400 deal. I mean, and that's a
more.
really it could be more, and that's something you really want to do if you're going to be selling is
Well,
get that pre-inspection done.
The point of it is get it done early so you have time to deal with issues that you're going to end up fixing anyway. Get that list and decide what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. So come the time when you are ready to be on the market, your house is ready and you're not scrambling. So, perfect timing for that. So Tego.
Let's go back to new construction. So we talked about this whole economic impact of a new home sale, $72,000 in New Mexico. That's a big deal, right?
Right.
It's a lot of money. If you look at some of the national data, which I've been following closely, all the different economic drivers for our country, residential real estate by far is the biggest driver. And I would guess that it's probably the same here in New Mexico. I talked to some of the local builders, and they're they're building. They're building as much as they can, but like I said, they're not overbuilding, which is a good sign. But cost, Tracy, you and I know intimately how much cost for new construction is
How much it's changed this year. It's gone up a lot, with trucking costs, lumber costs, bringing it in, labor costs.
It's not just, lumber was the big one, right? We saw over 100% increase in the cost of lumber. It's pulled back now, but lumber cost is huge. Labor costs have gone up. Stucco costs have gone up. Cement costs have gone up. The point is new construction is just more expensive. And if you look at the data here in Albuquerque, new homes, let's say an equivalent size home is 15 to 20% more than a resale home.
Right. And if it's a house that's, 15 years old that we're comparing it to, your energy efficiency is also night and day in a new home.
True.
Right.
But however, it doesn't change the fact that there's demand for new homes just because, people are paying that premium because they're getting a premium product.
Well, that's what I was pointing out, right? So maybe you're going to save $100 a month in utility bills by buying the new home, which might offset that it's a higher price. In addition to that, it's how we live today, right? And
in addition to 3% interest rates. It's still, what's interesting is, what have we seen? Like maybe an 8% appreciation across the board in Albuquerque over the last year in home prices. But yet affordability is actually lower than it was when interest rates were at 4%.
Right.
Did that make sense?
I understand it.
Okay,
but,
I hope you got it.
I don't know if the listeners do. So, Tego, let's talk about rents.
Oh, yes,
we
rent.
have had some interesting times here the last few months for people looking to rent in our Albuquerque, Rio Rancho area.
Can I quantify or qualify this?
You may.
Quantify?
Go ahead.
That wasn't the right word. Qualify. We personally, Tracy, you and I own rental properties.
Right.
It's just, this is the business we're in. But we don't do property management. But we're getting a lot of people calling our team looking for rental properties because it's just slim pickings out there.
Right. And some of our rental properties have turned over, and we have had the opportunity to have them rented out again. But the rent rates are up significantly.
Yes, for sure.
So, it's funny, I did this recently, and you can probably for $200 or $300 less than renting, you can be an owner for most price points, up to $250, $300. So
wait,
it's cheaper.
Just say that again. It's cheaper
to be an owner for your monthly payment than it is to be a renter in Albuquerque. And it's been that way for a while, but it's gotten a bigger spread now. It's even more money now to be a renter than an owner. So if you should be buying a house, or you should be helping one of your kids or relatives buy a house, what great timing to take advantage of the interest rates right now.
Speaking of which, interest rates hit another low this week.
Really?
So interest rates are still historically low. You know what really had the biggest move this week on interest rates in the mortgage world was jumbo rates. Because when we first, let me kind of back up here. When the pandemic first hit and we had this lockdown and we didn't know what was going to happen, and mortgage-backed securities were kind of locked up a little bit. The first products, when you talk about mortgages that go away, are the ones that are more like bank loans, not the one that Fannie and Freddie Mac buy. So jumbos kind of dried up a little bit.
A loan at a price of over $510,000 roughly. So if you're going to borrow more than $510,000 against buying a home, that would be considered a jumbo.
The other products that dried up back then were, let's call it, I don't want to call it subprime because that has such a bad connotation, but basically it's the ones that were, not super, 750 credit scores, right? It was the tougher loans to make, the ones that weren't quite, gold standard loans, the ones that Fannie and Freddie weren't buy. Those went away as well. So there was definitely there was a lot of news stories that came out about how, lending standards are, drying up and they're not making loans. And it's like, well, no, it was just on the margins. It was
Right.
it was, jumbos and you could still get jumbos, but the rates were higher. But it was all the marginal loans that went away, So,
Right.
there hasn't really been a problem for people that have decent credit. Even 620, you can get a loan, right?
Right. I'm going to change the subject though. We're running out of time. We
Uh-oh.
haven't talked about
Oh
homes
my gosh, we
or
got homes
open
to talk
houses.
about. Okay, go.
So open houses today.
Yep.
So there's a couple. There's one in the Storm Cloud community north of I-40 off of Unser.
Mhm.
It's open today and tomorrow, and hosted by Jarrett and Calandra. And Jarrett and Calandra are on our team. It's a great house. It's at, let me see, Summer Breeze. 2016 Summer Breeze. Sounds like a song,
Come on,
doesn't
sing
it?
it, sing it, sing it.
Yeah, I almost did, Tego. It's 369,000. It's 2684 square feet, and it's exactly what we were talking about earlier, the way
Yeah.
people want to live. It's a house built by Pulte, less than 2 years old. So it's got a lot of those features that people who are thinking about being in the home more
Yeah.
are really going to love. Another one, we talked about it last week, 610 Richmond Drive Northeast in North Albuquerque Acres. It's on one of those lots that's just a hair under an acre.
North
And
Albuquerque Acres? I thought it was.
Richmond?
No, I thought it was.
this is a different
yeah,
one.
I was going to say, I
Sorry.
think, this
There's
one's.
Richfield
Yeah,
that
got
we
it.
talked about last week. 639,000 North Albuquerque Acres.
Got it.
So that one is also still available. An open house from
Today.
1 to 3.
Today.
Yeah.
Yep, 1 to 3.
1 to 3 today. And then we have a new one that just hit the market. It is gorgeous. Get online and check it out. 610 Richmond Drive, not Richfield, Richmond, M-O-N-D. So this one is North Campus area, I believe, of UNM. It's 669,500.
Yeah.
And it's just over 3,100 square feet. Very, very updated. Just a well-known architect redesigned it and added on to it. And you're mapping it, but I need the details.
Oh, it's in that UNM, area.
North
Yep.
UNM area, North
Yep.
Campus. It's a 4 or 5 bedrooms, so it has the room for you to spread out, right? And
Yep.
have home office or have children or in-laws or whatever. It does have a bedroom on the main floor, which is great, but it's really cool. Check it out, 610 Richmond Drive Northeast in the UNM area. So that one, doesn't it have an open house or no?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me,
I don't
Tracy.
think so.
Yep. So Tracy, there it is. Yeah, it's Sunday.
Sunday, 1 to 3.
Yep, tomorrow 1 to 3. You can check that one out.
Obviously, I'd love to go look at that house.
Yeah.
Go to the Frontier. I guess they're back open again, full time or daytime. They were closed for a bit. Anyway, so lots going on in real estate.
Yep.
And lots of other homes that are coming and available soon. So if you're looking for something specific, give us a ring, 448-8888, and we can help you.
Customarily, November, December are kind of the slower months, if you will, in the real estate world. But there's always going to be homes being bought and sold. So give us a shout. Again, it's Venturi Realty Group, 505-448-8888. And thanks for listening.
Until next time.